Let's start with a hard truth. Your need for approval, it's a weapon. And right now, every single day, it is being used against you. It's the invisible string that controls your actions, your choices, your very sense of self-worth. This is Unspoken Rules, the only place that reveals the harsh psychological truths that actually govern your life. Today, we're going way past simple manipulation. We are going to dissect the very architecture of psychological control. We're talking about the deep science used by people who crave power to, well, engineer your compliance. It's time to pull back the curtain. Okay, first things first. We have to get comfortable with a fundamental truth that our society practically begs us to ignore. All human life is built on hierarchy. From the school playground to the corporate boardroom, we instinctively organize ourselves into ranks of power and status. It is the invisible architecture that shapes every single interaction you have. Now, there's a rulebook for this game. It's called social dominance theory, and it states that every society, without exception, organizes into these hierarchies, where certain groups get a disproportionate slice of the pie, the power, the resources, you name it. And listen, this isn't some bug in the system. According to the theory, it is the system. Understanding this is the very first step to seeing how the game is really played. So here's where it gets really interesting, because our own psychology actually slots us into this system. It all boils down to what's called your social dominance orientation, or SDO. Basically, your personal comfort level with inequality. If you have a high SDO, you're going to be drawn to what we call hierarchy-enhancing roles. Think corporate leadership, prosecution, jobs that strengthen the existing power structure. But if you have a low SDO, you're going to seek out the opposite, hierarchy-attenuating roles, like social work or human rights law, jobs designed to challenge and weaken those same structures. Think about that. Your career path isn't just a choice. It's a deep reflection of how you believe the world should work.
So what happens when one of these high SDO individuals, someone with a deep primal need for dominance, actually gets into a position of power? Well, they don't just work within the system. Oh no, they weaponize it. And this is their playbook.
In the workplace, this person is the classic authoritarian leader. They don't just want compliance, they demand absolute obedience. They lock everything down with rigid controls and endless procedures, creating this climate of fear and distrust. Why? Because in their mind, a strict chain of command is the only way to get things done. But you have to see what's underneath that iron fist, a profound fear of failure and a total lack of trust in other people. And the result? It's never efficiency. It's just massive psychological distress for everyone forced to work for them. And this right here is the point you cannot afford to miss. This isn't just some leadership style. It's a psychological signature. That same thirst for dominance that creates the authoritarian boss is the exact same engine that drives the emotional abuser in a personal relationship. The arena might change, but the playbook stays identical. It always begins with an absolutely intoxicating stage, love bombing. And let's be clear, this isn't just flattery. It's a strategic campaign of overwhelming affection, grand gestures, constant attention. It's all designed for one purpose, to create a powerful emotional dependence, to make you feel like you have finally found the one person in the world who truly gets you. It is the perfect bait for the trap. And then, just like that, the switch flips. Devaluation begins. The very same person who put you on a pedestal now starts introducing subtle little criticisms. Then not-so-subtle insults. They use gaslighting to make you question your own sanity, your own memory, your own reality. Your self-worth is systematically dismantled, piece by piece, leaving you utterly confused and just desperate to get back to the good times, back to the love bombing. This brutal back-and-forth cycle forges something in the brain called a trauma bond. And you have to understand, this is a deep chemical attachment. It has nothing to do with logic. It's formed by that repeated cycle of cruelty followed by just a little bit of affection. That unpredictability makes it feel almost impossible to leave. You become psychologically chained to the very source of your pain. But why? Why is this cycle so ridiculously powerful? Why do smart, logical people get stuck in these situations? It's because this isn't about logic, it's about brain chemistry. We are about to look right under the hood at the one neurochemical mechanism that powers this whole dynamic. We're talking about the addiction engine. And this, right here, is how that engine works in the real world. The hot and cold game. Intense affection followed by radio silence. Overwhelming praise followed by a biting criticism. They give you just enough attention to keep you hooked. to keep you hoping, but never, ever enough to actually feel secure. This push and pull isn't random, it is perfectly calibrated for maximum psychological impact. The scientific name for this is intermittent reinforcement. It's a conditioning schedule where the rewards, in this case we're talking about affection and approval, are handed out completely unpredictably. And out of all the ways you can condition a behavior, this is the one. This is the one that creates the most persistent, the most compulsive, the most powerfully addictive patterns known to science. And no, this is not some pop psychology buzzword. This is a foundational principle of behavioral science, proven decades ago by B.F. Skinner himself. The exact same mechanism that keeps a gambler glued to a slot machine pulling that lever over and over again is the exact same one that keeps a person tethered to a toxic dynamic. It is a scientifically verified tool of control, period. So let's break down exactly how your own brain gets hijacked. Step 1. The controller gives you affection completely at random. This creates profound uncertainty. Step 2. Your brain, desperately trying to find a pattern where there is none, releases a huge spike of dopamine. But here's the kicker. It's not when you get the reward, it's in anticipation of it. That maybe this time feeling, that's the hook. Step 3. You become addicted to the chase itself. You compulsively seek out that unpredictable reward. And step 4, your logic gets completely bypassed. You are now chemically, literally bonded to the very instability that is causing all of your pain. Okay, so understanding a science is one thing, actually escaping the prison is another thing entirely. And to do that, you need a map. You need a way to see the toxic roles that are being played in real time, both by them and, let's be honest, by you. This is the first real tool for your escape. The most effective map I've ever found for this is the Cartman Drama Triangle. It perfectly outlines 3 predictable toxic roles that people fall into during any kind of conflict. And here's the key you need to remember. All 3 of these roles are designed to do one thing, and one thing only: avoid taking real, honest, emotional responsibility for yourself. First up, we have the victim. The victim's mantra is, "Poor me." They feel helpless. They feel powerless, constantly oppressed by the world. But do not mistake this for true powerlessness. The victim role is actually a passive-aggressive way to manipulate other people into taking responsibility for their life. Their main goal: to find a rescuer. And that brings us to the rescuer. Their mantra is, "Let me help you." They have this compulsive need to save everyone, and they feel incredibly guilty if they don't. But look closer. Their help is actually a form of control. By keeping the victim dependent on them, the rescuer gets to feel powerful, and, most importantly, they get to avoid dealing with their own life, their own problems. And finally, we have the persecutor. Their mantra: "It's all your fault." This is the authoritarian boss, the emotional controller we started with. They are critical, they are blaming, they are controlling, and they use that blame like a shield to avoid feeling their own shame, their own fear, their own vulnerability. And to do that, they desperately need a victim to project it all onto. So once you can see this triangle, once you can identify the roles as they're happening, you are no longer a blind participant. For the first time, you have a choice. And this is where the real work begins. This is how you reclaim your power and you break this cycle for good. All right, here's the path. First, you have to name the triangle in the moment. Ask yourself, what role am I playing right now? Victim? Rescuer? Persecutor? Second, notice the power leaks in your own body. That tightness in your chest, that pit in your stomach, that feeling of dread, those are physical signals that you are giving your power away. Third, set and enforce boundaries. This means limiting contact, creating emotional distance. It does not mean it is necessary for your survival. Fourth, feel your own feelings. Stop obsessing over what they're thinking or feeling and drop into your own inner world. What do you need? And finally, you have to choose peace over performance. Realize that stepping out of these old toxic dances is an act of supreme courage, not weakness. And really, this is the ultimate goal, isn't it? Healing isn't about forgetting what happened. It is about reclaiming your internal sovereignty. It means your emotional well-being is no longer tied to someone else's unpredictable behavior. It means you are no longer living at the mercy of their inconsistency. So there you have it. You now have the math. You have the science. You have seen the controller's playbook and the psychological trap that makes it all work. There's no more plausible deniability. The question is no longer what is happening to me. The question is, what are you going to do about it? Will you continue to live in the comfortable fog of ignorance? Or are you going to hit that subscribe button and commit, right now, to seeing reality as it truly is? Join the community of individuals who choose awareness over apathy. Subscribe, turn on your notifications. And in the comments below, tell us which role in the drama triangle you recognize the most. The path to power begins with telling the truth.